Hi there, this is Dylis Guyan, and welcome to the Inspired Selling Podcast, the place where business owners and salespeople who sell to bigger businesses discover how to attract, convert, and retain more of their ideal clients without any of those nasty, sleazy, pushy sales tactics. So welcome everyone, and I've got a great guest today, as always, in Ian Moyes, and Ian is going to be talking to us today about branding. So let me just tell you a little bit about Ian, and then he can tell us a little bit more and give us context of who he is and why he's an authority to speak on the subject of branding. So Ian is a recognized speaker on iCloud and social selling, and is a non-executive director to a number of firms in addition to his leadership role at Natterbox. Great name, by the way, Ian. I love that. He was also awarded UK Sales Director of the Year in the BE SMA Awards in 2015, which is a huge accolade, and is regularly listed in top lists of sales leaders and influencers. So I'm absolutely delighted to have you here with us today, Ian.
Thank you. Thanks, and thanks for the introduction. Yeah, and around the context, we'll talk about personal branding in a second. And I guess what you said there is how I got into this is by accident, totally by accident, through my day job.
All right.
Been in sales leadership for years. As many, and I'm sure those who are listening would have noticed, the sales environment has changed. The biodynamic has changed in the world we live in with technology. We as humans have changed how we react to things. And it's got harder, right, to engage with customers. That led me into social selling before it was called social selling. Just in fundamentally in running sales leadership and running teams, trying to figure out, how do I keep being successful? How do we still get to the table, engage with customers? And part of social selling is the nature of how you look, how your perception, your first impression, how you come across, the judgment people make on you in the electronic age. So I didn't set out and haven't been on courses and all marketing side. This is from just real world experience of having to do it. And then I've had some accidental benefit, which I guess we may talk about. And some of the things I've learned, and I've done this the hard way. I haven't been on a course and then suddenly here's all the answers. I've learned by trial and error over many, many years.
A well-trodden path, as they say.
A painful, bumpy path.
Yeah, I know you're very modest, Ian, because I know you vaguely, but I've researched you, and you've got a wealth of knowledge and experience, your background in these executive director roles, non-exec roles that you hold, which also brings a wealth of experience as well as your leadership roles, and to win that award for UK's top sales director of the year is really an accolade in itself.
Thank you.
It speaks volumes. So your modesty is appreciated, but you don't need to be so modest. Okay. So tell us, Ian, what is personal branding? Just really give us an explanation to put that in context so that everybody understands, because this branding word keeps getting bandied about. And often people say to me, so Dylis, what is this? So give us your take on this, Ian.
Yeah, so if you look at corporate branding in simple terms, if someone says a corporate brand to you like Nike or McDonald's, you immediately typically visualize the logo, maybe visuals or feelings of adverts or what you've seen. They've packaged it. So you immediately have a good feeling or a negative feeling depending on your own personal experience. Personal branding is about getting that based on yourself. And it has different techniques. There's some overlap, but you're not going to run TV adverts. You're not going to do it's. Well, how can you do that? And in years back, you couldn't really achieve that. It was your personal brand was in meeting people and how you engage with them. They liked you or didn't, and you just built that rapport. In today's electronic world, it's changed, fortunately or unfortunately, and we're not going back. We've got a plethora of platforms. LinkedIn being the prime one in business, but Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and you can keep going into all the other specialized ones and ones that the millennials and Zeds are now using. And you can look up anyone, as you would have done with me and I would do with you. You can, in seconds, get an impression of an individual without even meeting them. Now, it might be you're about to see someone speak at an event, or someone's coming to meet you, or someone's coming. Often a simplest example is interview. Recruiters absolutely are using this. So if you're going to see someone, they're going to look and have a look at, well, what do you represent? There's a CV, which is controllable. And then there's the rest of the information, which is controllable, but typically people don't control. So going back in the sales story and journey I've been through, it used to be you'd maybe have a call with a customer or a prospect, you'd get through, get a little bit of interest from them, a few hot button statements. Oh, okay, maybe it's worth talking, maybe get a meeting. And then at that meeting, it would often be, well, tell me about you and your company. And you'd get that opportunity to tell your story in a controllable fashion. In today's world, that's gone. Because you've got your website, which is controllable, and that's what you represent and people can see. And then there's the information about your company on the web and reviews, etc. But they can also now, unlike before, find out about you. Now, it may not be your choice for them to find out about you, but it doesn't take 2 seconds to search in the wonders of Google with your name, or look on LinkedIn, and we'll go straight to the social platforms and get a feel for you.
Yeah.
Are they credible? Do they put much information out about themselves, or is it just really basic? And I do it when I'm interviewing people. Fundamentally, the first thing I look at is, particularly in sales, there's their CV. How do they interact? Are they on LinkedIn? If they're not on LinkedIn, there's a big issue here for me, because unless it's an industry, when technology isn't such an industry where that's totally inappropriate, it immediately shows me they haven't kept up to date and relative, etc. Then I look at what the quality of their profile is, and does it match the CV? The number of times I look at it, and the pattern on the LinkedIn has different gaps to the CV, which immediately raises factual questions.
Of course.
Then I'll always look at, and I do this with any prospect customer, and I get my team to do, is look at the other profiles. Look at where can you see that person, because you can understand more about the human you're going to engage with. What do they do on Twitter? Are they on Twitter? Do they share information? What are they interested in? And in social selling terms, you're looking for insights. You're looking for, are there connection points? Are there things did you go to the same college that you find out something? Do you have the same hobby or passion? Is there commonality? Which we used to do when you turned up in someone's office, right? Saw a picture of sailing on the wall, and you're like, oh, I do like sailing, and that instigates it. Now you need to do it one step back. And the beauty is you have access to more information than we've ever had access to before.
Yeah.
The downside is we all have access to more information. So it works both ways, depending what information you've put out there and how you represent yourself.
And it's about being congruent, isn't it? As you've just said, that somebody gets a feel for who you are, and that it's not disjointed across the platforms. Yeah. And of course, a lot of people, and I still hear this, and I know there are more people going social now, but there are still people who, and actually it's more salespeople I see than business owners. But the salespeople think, well, why does it matter? I'm not a social celebrity. I don't want that. I don't want to be involved in that way. Why should I expose myself, metaphorically speaking, across social media platforms and create a brand for myself when I actually work for a company and they have the brand? So why is it important that they consider that? And this applies to business owners as well, of course, those who say, I'm too busy for any of that. I don't want to be positioning myself in that way.
So it's a good question. Let me cover it in a number of ways. So firstly, it's not about being celebrity. There are byproducts, which I'll touch on in a second, accidents that can happen if you want to go down that route. But by not having a profile, you don't know the recipient that you're going to see. You don't know how they're viewing it. So if they look, because I'm social and I see it as an information source, and in the sales specific environment you started from, if I look and they don't have a profile, there's immediately a negative there of they don't understand the modern world we work in, and they're welcome to their opinion. But if you're going to see 20 customers and 10 of them don't care, but 10 do, and have a look and just feel, oh, they don't went on here. You've immediately got a negative or a neutral with 10 people For what reason? Because you couldn't be bothered to just do some basics and a little bit of effort. Because it doesn't cost, you can do it with no money, or it doesn't cost a lot of money, surely. This isn't like branding a company where you need to have deep pockets, a whole marketing team. This is pretty simple stuff, and getting the basics right. When you're talking a business leader, you represent your company brand. People buy from people. So whilst your company brand may be good, if you some personal example of industry examples we'll know of, look at what's going on in the press right now. Organizations where individual execs at their business have been negatively reported in the press, and the business is tarnished with it. The business's stock price goes down. Not because the business has done anything wrong or the performance has changed, but because an exec has had some bad news about them. So the question is, if you think bad news can have a negative effect, can positive profile have a positive effect?
Indeed.
And why do people like Brian, there's personalities in business. You don't have to be like the Bransons of this world and the Zuckerbergs and be highly known in the industry. But if you're running that business, you have a voice. Yeah. You're the thought leader in the company. How can that be leveraged by the business? People like to feel they're dealing with not a faceless organization, but who is behind this business? And if you are leader in the business, do you have a about us and this is our founders page on your website? Great. So why don't you therefore have a social profile which says a little bit more about you, what you're about, your mission statement, and give some cultural view. And this can lead to press opportunities. It can lead positively or negatively to engagement your business has with customers. It depends on the market you're in. It's B2B, B2C, the type of technology or product or service that you're selling. So it all varies. Yeah. But let me give you a prime example, as a simple example, totally out of my context. If you're an artist or designer and you do wondrous works, the personality behind that, and you look at a lot of the big designers, we know who they are, and they're celebrities, and Katie Hopkins, they're on TV, etc. Why is that? Because the nature of what they do as a designer, it's them. Yeah. So you want to know about them. You want to feel you can engage with them. You know who they are, and it makes you more engaged with their product.
And also, it establishes your credibility.
Absolutely.
I'm seen as the expert. I mean, many times I have seen people who actually are not maybe as good as they think they are even, but because of their exposure, they've positioned themselves and they've become very credible, and they've created top of mind thinking in the potential clients. So now I'm not knocking anybody. I'm just saying that there are those who I have seen who have really exposed themselves, metaphorically speaking, of course, and have become known and have done very well. Yeah. And so you only have to look at the evidence of the use of social and branding of yourself to see that it works.
And to your point, you said about what was the individual care, the company. Here's the simple one, and I say this to salespeople: if you build that persona and brand, it goes with you. It's yours. Yeah. It goes with you throughout your career. The company brand is with you when you're selling, and it helps you in that engagement. But it doesn't help you as an individual, and you're the one selling to the. So I turn that on its head. I often say to my salespeople when we're competing with a known competitor, you're not competing with that vendor. Yeah. You're competing with the individual salesperson representing them today in that customer engagement. That's who you're up against.
Absolutely right.
The brand helps around it, but that's who you're up against. And so, and we've seen this. If you get a junior, inexperienced or bad salesperson at the other end who handles it inappropriately, you get liked. And you may not have a certain feature in your product or service. There may be tweaks and but often with these things you're relatively close, and the customer's making micro decisions of and we often and get this, and I've heard this before. We like you guys. It's an intangible, but we like your team. We like the girl or guy that came to see us, and we felt we could trust you and that starts today prior to meeting them, because they only have to look at your profile and they can make prejudgments, and prejudgments can be unpicked, but you make those you may see a celebrity on TV or someone you dislike, you may meet them in real life, actually they were really nice, didn't expect that. And we've had that, I won't say who, but we've had that both ways. Some of our family deal with some celebrities in some of the things they arrange, and we've seen ones who are wondrous in their persona and in real life, not so nice, and you'd be shocked, and vice versa, ones you expect to be full of themselves who have been really genuine. So you make...
There's a couple of points there, because this kind of highlights where just be authentic and be yourself across all platforms, and who you are as an individual, so that no matter when you are interacting with anyone, they get that same feel of the brand, if you like.
Yeah, you've got to be, you've absolutely hit the nail on it. Authentic is key.
Yeah.
So in social selling, what you're doing is the first thing that comes across is your brand, how you look, the first impression you make. The same as it used to be in meetings. You'd turn up with a shirt, and first impressions count. You wouldn't turn up in ripped jeans and unless you're a designer. But if you go into a corporate business meeting in the city, you dress appropriately, you act appropriately. First impressions today are typically electronic. So that's the first thing. So, but what you're then trying to do is get engagement. Or social selling, this term, is all about just getting engagement, which turns into a real world engagement. Once you've done that, the social selling bit's done. It's done its job of getting you to engage back to where we were. And now it's down to you as an individual and your skills and experience, as it was always. But the first part is, how do you look, the people first impression of you? And then how do you engage with them in terms of insights and interactions? And that's where exactly what you said there of being authentic. Because I've said to people, go and look at the senior person you're trying to get hold of on Twitter and all their profiles. Get a view of who they are. Is there anything obvious? Now, if they happen to go to the same college you went to or something, there might be a point of engagement. Or they've posted something where you can comment on it authentically, or add insight or some stat, or this report, or this might be, you're a good question you asked. This report I saw recently was of use. So it's all about getting noticed. You want to get noticed by the person you want to have engagement with, and obviously ideally speak to, meet, etc. But get noticed in a positive way. And the minute you get noticed because you posted something relevant or insightful that helped the discussion, they've asked a question, they're going to look at your profile. And it's back to the branding piece. You can't avoid it. You can't have one without the other. So, it's about, how do you use the world we're in? How do you use these platforms and technology to your advantage, to look good, to engage well? And if you're not authentic and you comment on something you know nothing about, and it works, what happens when you meet them? And they want to talk about 17th century architecture that you've been looking up on Google and posting back about. You're flawed because you've been forced from the start, you've lied. So you have to be authentic, as you say, consistently, not only on how you look, but on any engagement you have. And if there isn't an engagement point, don't falsify it.
Yes, absolutely. So what are the key elements that people should think about then? Because we've got curating content, we've got posting our own content, we've got video, we've got repurposing. This podcast is an ideal example where, we're videoing, that will go on YouTube. The audio will go on iTunes. I send the audio off to get transcribed, and that, along with the audio, goes out to my subscriber list. And I don't always, but I have done on a number of occasions, repurposed the transcription. So taken out some kind of key quotes, or created a smaller blog post or whatever. So where do people start? Because I think people are a little bit overwhelmed. They set up their platforms and they think, right, now what?
Well, certainly I wouldn't say start with curating content unless you're an avid writer and you find it absolutely easy and it just flows and it's the easiest thing in the world for you, which typically for the majority, I don't think it is. First thing for me is clean up the profiles you've got. Make sure they look good. The profile photo, the headline, how it looks, and make it authentic. If you ever look at mine, it's not perfect, and I'm constantly tuning mine. And I've had a couple of social people recently go, there's a couple of tweaks here, and etc. So I'm still learning from other peers, and I'm tuning, and I'll see someone else's profile in passing and see something they've done. Oh, I like that. I'll plagiarize that. So I'm constantly tuning. So first thing is get it right, and then constantly be nudging it. It's like your house, right? First thing is when you move and you make it all nice, but then you'll start tweaking things and repainting things, and I'll get around to changing the door handles and doing this sort of stuff. But when you're doing your profile, if you have a look at mine, one of the things I learned recently was making it a bit personal. So if you look at the headline piece on LinkedIn, for example, I tell how I got into computing, because the environment I want to be known for is cloud computing. That's the world I've worked in for the last 12 years. You can't be known for everything. So what are you going to want to be known for? What is your area of passion and expertise? And that's what you want to brand yourself for. So I tell the story, at 14, I fell into this, and I've made it a little bit of so it feels more realistic. It's about me, not just fact. Then there's obviously the company stuff. Getting your photo right is a simple one. The number of people that just have photos that are just poor photos, so either by selection or by lighting, etc. Get a good photo done of yourself. And here's a real tip, real easy one. Go and test it for free. There's a site called photofeeler.com that I came across by accident. And when I did, I thought, this is interesting. So I tested my own photo. The photo I use on my social profiles right now is not what I used to use. So I used a photo, and you put your photo in and people will vote on it, and you can, for business or personal.
Oh, right.
And it's free. So what you do is you go and vote on other people to build some credits up, and it's just click. It's where Facebook really started originally, was this sort of thing. So you say, are they credible from that picture? And that's all you've got to judge by. And the beauty of this is it's not people that know you who have a bias already. It's anyone out there. So you go and do it, you get your points, or you can pay, but I do the free one. It takes minutes. Put your photo on, sit back, and people will vote on it of how well did it come across as in terms of credibility or seniority, etc. And you can test another photo. So I tested the one I had originally, and then a new one. And interesting, okay, the new one was better, so I put that on. And then along the journey, I thought, actually, I've got the same photo that you'll see on my profile now. The original one had no glasses on, and I had another one with glasses on. Same photo, just taken a couple of times like this.
Yeah.
So I put the one with the glasses on. My ratings went way up. But who knew? So now you'll always see the picture.
Well, there we are then. Come on, let's get our glasses on.
But who knew, right? Now what I've done is I also tested, just out of curiosity, something twigged, I don't know why, and I flipped the photo. So I'm facing the other way, tested that. It went up again. So now if you see my photo, there's a reason I'm looking in one particular direction with glasses on, because it gave the highest result. First impression looking at that photo, it got me the highest results from any random person looking at it on average. Some won't, right? But in terms of the criteria. So I tested it. That's what I did. So I haven't selected that photo by accident. So little things like that now someone comes to your profile, the first thing they will glance at is your photo. There is nothing you can do about that. It's humans work on imagery. It's all psychology. It's ingrained to us. Picture paints 1,000 words. They will look at the photo and make a first impression of credible, senior, junior, respectful, all that stuff, microseconds, micro decisions. So why would you not do the best you could? Then if they glance, okay, let's have a look at the profile. So every little bit, I want it that if someone does choose to look at my profile, they go away with the best impression I could possibly give them of the right things. So there's no negative in it, and hopefully they go, actually, maybe we should talk to this guy. Or, okay, now from doing all this, why would you do it? That's probably maybe where we should have started. In general business, it gives you that profile. But off the back of this, totally accidental, because remember, I didn't set out to do social selling. That was about trying to just be relevant and remain successful in sales, hence led to branding, because that's part of it, etc. In terms of other pieces, because of the profile I've built in cloud, purely through social and doing nothing else but looking right, and then absolutely I started creating my own content, running a bit of a blog, post it on LinkedIn and shared it. I had a thought, and I'm constantly doing this now. I'll see something happen in the world or a customer experience, think there's a story there. So I tell it with opinion. And I've had some posts get 10, 20,000 views and lots of likes and comments. So you get known for it. I've been invited now I get invited to speak at a lot of events. Last year, for example, I went out to, where was it? Bulgaria for a couple of days. A keynote. I did 4 major speaking at this event they took me out for. Oracle's got me blogging social influence for them, SAP, Sage, Equinix. I've just been approached by another major brand. Just because they see you online, they see you've written good content, they see what you've done on social, they check you out. So rightly or wrongly, I've become what's called a social influencer in the cloud sector. And a little bit for social selling, and through what I've done on social, I've got to meet lots of people in my arena. So book authors, best-selling book authors in the sales arena, because we've engaged on social, we've got to know each other on social because I've commented or I've appeared in a list with them because of something I've done on social. And many of them I've now met with personally. When they've come to the UK, they've sort of reached out and said, oh, maybe you're around, we can meet. Mm. So it benefits your real world engagement, but that's not what I set out to do. It's a byproduct of having a good profile, having a voice, and becoming a semi-thought leader in that space. Yeah. And if you're a business leader in your industry, that has benefit, because magazines, I was reached out to yesterday or the day before about the 30th anniversary of the internet by journalists, because they've seen me all over the thing. Have you gotten a comment? And the comment went into the press article with the company name.
Yeah, and there is no doubt, absolutely no doubt that buyers will, because of course not every buyer is looking. So when sales are made, it's not just because the buyer was looking, but certainly for the buyers who are looking, they will look you up and they will see where you are, where you're showing up, and how you're showing up. There's absolutely no that is inarguably the most important part, is to be seen and be in places and where your potential clients are going to be.
Absolutely. And I sometimes get in this where people say, well, I'm not on social, so there's no damage, but there's no positive either. And there is damage depending on the opinion of the viewer. Mm. That's what we've got to think. And more in the world we're in now with millennials and Zeds, if you're not there, they just you're not real.
Yeah.
Because that's the mindset. They've grown up with this technology.
Mm. So give us the three keys then of what people absolutely need to do right now. And I know we've talked about a couple in terms of your social media, but in terms of the branding within that, what are the three things that people need to consider?
Sure. So I would say let's do three after the one. The first one is be on the platform. Mm-hmm. And be exactly what you said, and I get this asked often, is be where your customers are. People often ask me, well, which social platform should I focus on? And my answer is, I don't know, because I don't know your business market. Mm. If you're, as I said earlier, graphic designer or you do artwork, Instagram's probably good because it's visual and etc. And combined with Facebook. If you're in selling enterprise technology solutions in the sort of market I'm in, you've got to be on LinkedIn. But I'd also suggest Twitter, because a lot of the people engaged will be on there. So you've got to look at what is it, the business you're in, and where are the people you want to engage with and view you likely to be, and do them well. Don't try and do that. Now, I do them all against my advice, because the nature of being in social media and doing these sort of things, I've had to be dragged into them. Initially, I just did LinkedIn well. Then I moved to Twitter. I wasn't on Facebook and Instagram. Now I'm on all of them. But don't try and boil the ocean. So don't come off of this, I've got to go and set all of them, and because you'll get buried. Pick the ones that are important. And if LinkedIn's the most important to start with, as it may be certainly for business leaders, go and review your profile, your picture, test your picture, make it look good out of the gate. Number one. If you have multiple profiles, now number two is make them consistent. Cross-link them. They all have the ability to put a link to another profile, link to the other one. So if someone finds you on one, don't make it their job to go and search on the other profile and then try and match up, is that the same person? Yeah. Right? Make it that you can click and go straight to. You go to mine will link to pages that list all my social profiles, and you can go to all of them without mistake, it's me, because I've made it easy for you. And then the third one, if you can get that right and you want to start going down this thought leadership piece of big nose, is create content. If you've got a voice, you've got an opinion on something that has value. If you're a leader of a business and you meet people and you chat to them and you can give them good insight about how this works and the way it's changed a business, or why this is the right thing to be, whether it's design work or architect, whatever it is, you've got knowledge. create some articles about it, make it interesting. You've got opinion. If you can talk it, you can write it, or get someone in your business to write it in marketing for you. Record something like this, transcribe it, then edit it a little bit if you're not a writer. I found it hard to write initially, but the more I write now, and what I've found is my style is conversational. And I've had a lot of the people I blog for, some of the names I mentioned, like that, because it's not very matter-of-fact, factual, scripted marketing type speak. I just write off the cuff of, and I couldn't believe it, and use words like I'm conversing, and it makes it very readable and engaging. So I'm getting invited to do more and more blogging. Now, if you get that, move to that stage where you're writing good content, it'll get shared. And guess what? By the nature of it, people will often look and click to see, well, who wrote it? Because they're interested. Oh, this is really good. And natural human being, who is it? Therefore, your profile needs to look good because you're bringing them back to you now. It has this knock-on snowball effect. That would be the fundamentals. There's lots of nice little tricks and niceties you can do. For example, if you go to my LinkedIn profile, you can go to ianmoyes.co.uk. My Twitter, go to ianmoyes.cloud. I will take you straight to my. I've just created a domain name, cost me about £15 a year total. And so anyone says, where do you find me? I give them those. I know them off the top of my head. I can't go to LinkedIn and search my name. Now let's put it back on them, the audience. I can't tell them, go to linkedin.com/. You don't remember it. So I created nice front end domains that make it easy for people to find me. Then when they get there, hopefully your perception will be, if anyone goes to look, it's a good profile. It can always be better. And then you can see the content I've created. So the game is to get people to stay with you, so to speak, as businesses do on websites. You don't want to come to your website, click, go elsewhere. You want them to spend time there. So I want people to see something I've tweeted, click back, have a look who I am. Oh, okay, there's another article. Maybe they'll reshare it. And then I get to a bigger audience and more people. And it's a weird environment.
Yeah.
And I've had that marketing people say to me when I describe this, what they've come from with websites and SEO and all that stuff. But this doesn't compute. Tagging people in that you don't know doesn't compute. I'll write an article about something, and if there's someone, whether they're famous or in the public eye or that's relevant to that, tag them in.
Yeah.
They might share it, and suddenly you've got an audience of 2 million from it.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong. That's the etiquette of social media. You're not. And I've had some marketing people go, you can't go tagging them in. Yes, you can.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't be shy. I'll tag every person in, and I've had some good shares. I've had comments I've made on social, put on posters of shows in London. I've had tweets appear on TV programs.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a game to me now of how can I create relevant, good content that gets my profile out there, because I've got dragged into this world.
Yeah.
You don't need to go that far, but it just shows what's possible really easily just by using this stuff that's free.
Indeed. And I think also that it's really important not to lose sight of the objective of what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're absolutely right. You need to set that at the beginning. I said, what do I want to be known for? It's cloud.
Yeah.
What do you want to be known for? And if the objective is creating opportunities for your business, don't get disheartened when you don't get floodgates of leads because you tweeted something. It takes time to build a profile. But if you think about mine now, I get invited to speak at events for free, which are previously, you want to come, you have to pay. Because of the profile I've built, I get invited to speak at an event for free. And then I can talk about something thought leadership wise. But guess what? The company brand that I work for is on the slide. Yeah. And I can get sneakily at the end. And by the way, guys, if anyone's interested, 10 seconds, and I tell them quickly what we do. We're over there, or this is how you contact us, etc.
Yeah. Yeah. Because there's purpose to all of this. Because what people don't want to do is get involved in this to the detriment of taking it to the next step.
Yeah.
Where they meet people or they're engaged with people, but then they're not taking it that next step to achieve the objective of the whole exercise anyway. Yeah.
Well, what you could do is one good tip as well is build your profile, start some articles. If you can get a little bit of thought leadership going, what you'll find is if you tag in people who are influential, so are influencers in your market, who your customers might be, journalists, might be analysts, might be people in the public eye, and get them to share your content, it's the best free advert you can get. Yeah. Because you're reaching the audience you want to reach through someone else. Therefore, it's got their endorsement. This is what this whole, you see it. The Kardashians it's the most extreme example. They get given jewelry. They get given clothes, etc. to wear, because if they're seen in it and they share it on social, guess what? Same happens with the royals. They wear a dress, it sells out in the shop it was in, Marks and Spencer, sold out in a day. So in this sphere of general business, if you can get people who influence your customers to say something about you positive, or share an article or something that you're associated with, once you get into that, it gets easier that they'll share more. You get a free push to the audience you want to get to, because the audience may not be following you, but they're following them.
Yes. Yeah. Ian, this has been fantastic. Thank you so much. Really thankful. So if anyone would like to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
Sure. So I've sort of preempted that, right? So ianmoyes.co.uk or ianmoyes.cloud. That'll take you to LinkedIn and Twitter, and I'm contactable on both of those platforms.
Perfect. Thank you once again. Just hold on for a while, and thank you, and I'll speak to you again soon.
Sure. Thank you.
Wasn't that great? So get yourself out there, whether you're a salesperson or a business owner, and create your brand. If you've already got a brand, have a look and see how can I just make a tweak to that and improve it, and get out there and become known for what you do. So thanks again for listening or watching the Inspired Selling podcast. And if you would like further interaction with me, please come and join my free Facebook group, which is also called Inspired Selling. Just search for it on Facebook, Inspired Selling. Click to join, and I'd be very, very happy to meet you and welcome you into the group. So for now, have a fantastic day. Do be the best you can be, and I'll speak to you next time. Bye for now.